So, hello guys. Today we'll be reacting to athletes who died in front of the fans. Only 3.4% of you guys have subscribed, so kindly subscribe to the channel and let's start the video.
The sport world is full of great emotions, but sometimes it also becomes the stage for unexpected tragedies. Many athletes who were at the peak of their careers, being cheered on by thousands of people, lost their lives right in front of their fans, turning moments of celebration into painful memories. And that is exactly what you will see here today. So go ahead and leave your like, click below on the subscribe button, and let's go. Dale Earnhardt was not just a NASCAR driver. He was a true legend on wheels, known as the Intimidator. He earned that nickname because he was never afraid to get close and put pressure on his opponents. Dale was the type of guy who owned the asphalt with a confidence that seemed unshakable. With 7 NASCAR championships under his belt and 76 victories, he not only made history but also excited crowds at every turn. Yet he was not all about speed and aggressiveness. Dale was also a man of principles who valued family and loved watching his son, Dale Earnhardt Jr., follow in his footsteps in auto racing. With his iconic black car number 3, he became a symbol of the sport, and, for many, the greatest driver NASCAR has ever seen. On February 18, 2001, Dale was exactly where he loved to be the most, in the cockpit of his car, ready to race in the Daytona 500, the most prestigious NASCAR event. He had already won that race once, but on that day, his mission seemed different. On the final lap, Dale was defending the lead for 2 cars that meant a lot to him: Michael Waltrip's car, his teammate, and Dale Jr.'s car, his son. It was all or nothing, and Dale was there to protect them both, like the warrior he always was. But on the last turn, everything changed. He was bumped by another car, lost control, and crashed head-on into the wall. For those watching, it seemed like just another common NASCAR accident, but this time, it was different. The crash was fatal, and Dale left us right there, on the stage where he had always shone. The death of Dale Earnhardt was a tremendous shock. The world of auto racing lost one of its greatest icons. Even so long after, Dale remains remembered not just for what he accomplished, but for what he stood for: courage, talent, and a love for the track. Adam Johnson was a talented...
Honestly, this sport over here, I usually see videos where they would literally drop the hockey sticks and now start throwing hands, bro.
The ice hockey player born in Minnesota, in the United States in 1994. He started his path in college leagues, standing out for his drive and skill. In 2017,
imagine your leg or your hand getting like ripped by these shoes, because I'm pretty sure these shoes are sharp, yeah? So imagine the pain. Yo.
Adam took a big step by starting his professional career, playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the National Hockey League. Even though he was never drafted, his determination led him to play 13 games in the world's top hockey league between the 2018 and 2020 seasons. After that, he continued his journey playing for clubs in Europe, including stints in Sweden, Germany, and most recently in the United Kingdom, where he was playing for the Nottingham Panthers. On October 28, 2023, Adam was the victim of a tragic accident during an elite ice hockey league match in the United Kingdom against the Sheffield Steelers. In an unfortunate play, the blade of an opposing player's skate, Matthew Petgrave, cut Adam's neck, causing a fatal injury. Despite immediate attempts to
you see what I'm talking about?
Help him, Adam did not survive his wounds and passed away at 29 years of age. The incident left everyone in the arena in shock and led to an outpouring of grief in the sports world. Adam's death brought up discussions about safety in hockey. In response to the incident, the British League decided to make neck guards mandatory starting in January 2024, a measure aiming to prevent similar accidents. Additionally, the Nottingham Panthers honored their player by retiring the number 47 jersey, a symbolic gesture reflecting the impact Adam had on the team and the fans. Matthew Petgrave, the player involved in the accident, also faced the consequences of the episode. He was arrested on charges of involuntary manslaughter, raising strong questions about whether the incident was truly accidental or caused by negligence. Petgrave claimed the play was not intentional and launched a crowdfunding campaign to cover his legal costs, which allowed him to post bail. Ayrton Senna is undoubtedly one of the greatest names in world auto racing. A driver from Brazil, he stood out not only for his astonishing skill behind the wheel, but also for his strong personality and charisma. During his career, Senna claimed 3 Formula One World Championships in 1988, 1990, and 1991, and became famous for his incredible ability to drive under extreme conditions, such as wet tracks. Senna was a true example of overcoming challenges. However, on May 1st, 1994, Senna's story took a tragic and unexpected turn. The San Marino Grand Prix at Imola was set to be an important race, but it quickly became one of the darkest weekends in Formula One history. During the race weekend, the track had already shown how dangerous it was. The day before, Austrian driver Roland Ratzenberger had died after a fatal crash in qualifying. Senna, already shaken by the loss of a fellow racer, went into the circuit determined to win but also carrying a heavy emotional burden. On race day, May 1st, Senna was leading when, on the 7th lap, his car lost control at the Tamburello corner. His speed was extremely high, and even though it wasn't a head-on collision, Senna's car hit the concrete wall very hard. The crash caused serious damage, but what truly made it fatal was a piece of the car's suspension that broke off and pierced the driver's helmet, striking his head. Senna was attended to immediately and airlifted to the nearest hospital. However, despite the doctor's best efforts, he did not survive his injuries and was pronounced dead hours later. The news spread rapidly across the world, causing enormous shock, especially in Brazil, where Senna was treated like a...
Man, this hits different, man. Imagine you're there, then you see your favorite player or athlete just lose their life in front of your eyes. Yo, life is precious. Have to enjoy while you still can.
national hero. Senna's accident was not just a huge loss for the sport, but also a turning point for safety in Formula One. His tragedy, added to Ratzenberger's death, led to significant changes in safety standards, both on the tracks and in the cars. New technologies and practices were introduced to ensure that more lives would not be lost in such a tragic way. Ironically, Senna had planned to pay tribute to Roland Ratzenberger in the event he won the race. He had placed an Austrian flag in his car, a symbolic gesture of respect to his colleague who had died the day before. Sadly, that victory never happened. Owen Hart was one of the big names in wrestling, coming from a family with a long tradition in the sport. He was the brother of Bret Hart, one of the greatest wrestling legends, yet Owen built his own path in the World Wrestling Federation, now known as WWE. Instead of just following Bret's footsteps, Owen preferred to stand out on his own, earning recognition for his ring skills and his unique personality. By 1999, Owen was at the peak of his career, but was also facing some difficulties, especially after disagreements with the WWF's management. To try boosting his image, he was assigned to portray the character Blue Blazer, a rather ridiculous figure that made the crowd laugh more than admire his abilities. The plan was for him to make dramatic entrances to the ring, and one of them involved descending from a height of about 7 floors, which turned out to be fatal. During the Over the Edge event...
Yo, are you telling me these people used to like do real stunts? I thought it was all scripted and not fake.
While the broadcast was on a commercial break, Owen climbed onto a tall structure, but due to faulty equipment, he fell into the ring, hitting it violently. The accident was captured live for the fans, but the impact was so severe that many could not believe what they had seen. The WWF's reaction to the tragedy shocked many. Despite the gravity of what had happened, the company decided to continue the event without informing the audience of Owen's death. This created outrage among other wrestlers and employees. The Hart family, devastated by the loss, filed a lawsuit against the WWF, arguing that the equipment that caused Owen's fall was defective and poorly planned. In the end, the company was ordered to pay 18 million United States dollars in damages to the family. Owen Hart,
Damn.
who was beloved by his colleagues and fans, will always be remembered not only for his talent in the ring, but also for how his death exposed negligence and lack of care by a wrestling industry that was, at the time, far more focused on entertainment than on the safety of its athletes. Mark Vivian Foe was one of the most talented players from Cameroon, known for his skill in midfield and as a key member of his national team. He played for clubs such as Lyon and Manchester City and was on a high during the 2003 Confederations Cup. Foe was also one of the stars behind Cameroon's success in the African Cup of Nations and in the 2002 World Cup. During a semi-final of the 2003 Confederations Cup between Cameroon and Colombia, the player collapsed on the field and, unfortunately, did not recover. Foe suffered a cardiac arrest caused by by a rare condition known as hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which can be fatal during intense physical activity. The shock was so overwhelming that even after Cameroon's victory, the news of his death took everyone by surprise. After the match, sadness overtook the locker rooms. The team captain rushed in shouting that Fo had passed away, and all the players were devastated. Even with the pain, the team decided to move forward and played the final against France as a tribute to their teammate. In that match, their grief was obvious, but they used Fo's memory as motivation. France won, but it was Fo's memory that truly left its mark on that game and that tournament. In tribute, clubs like Manchester City and Lyon retired Fo's jersey numbers. FIFA also took important steps, creating emergency programs to prevent cardiac problems in soccer and funding medical research on illnesses that affect players. The case of João Carvalho, a Portuguese mixed martial arts fighter, is another deeply saddening moment in combat sports history. In 2016, after being defeated by technical knockout in a bout against Charlie Ward in Dublin, Ireland, Carvalho began to feel ill and was rushed to the hospital. Sadly, he died 2 days later from cerebral complications. Many in the MMA community, including Ward's father, believed the fight should have been stopped sooner. However, referee Marius Domasat defended his decision, stating that he ended the contest at the exact moment when the fighter could no longer continue. Ireland's Minister of State for Tourism and Sport even spoke out, calling for changes to ensure more safety in the sport. But the truth is that nothing can bring João Carvalho back. All that remains is to prevent more tragedies like this in the future. Wouter Wayland was a Belgian cyclist known for his love of speed. Born in Ghent on September 27, 1984, he quickly made a name for himself in competitions, riding for renowned teams such as Omega Pharma and Trek Factory Racing. Wayland achieved important victories, including a stage win in the 2010 Giro d'Italia and in the
I usually ask myself, like the way these
2008
people
Vuelta a España's 17th stage.